In this video, we'll give you a clear view of what you can do in Avignon. We'll show you everything by category: strolls, landmarks, tours, parks, churches, museums, market, viewpoints, festival. We are a French family, former travel planners, and we run a user-friendly France travel guide, culturefrancia.com. Check the description. You'll find our pages about Avignon, plus our interactive map. First of all, let's start with a quick overview. Avignon is a city with a rich medieval past. It's nicknamed the City of the Popes because it was home to 7 popes during the Middle Ages. Avignon is located in the south of France, in the Provence region, and it's bordered by the Rhône River. It has a population of 90,000 people, and almost all the places to visit are in its old town, which is about 1.2 kilometers long. Now, let's see the strolls. First, the old town itself. It includes the whole area inside the walls marked by the old medieval ramparts that date back to the 14th century. Even if you cannot walk on top of them, you'll clearly notice them as soon as you enter the old town. Now, the most interesting area to stroll around is roughly in the middle. There is the main axis with Rue de la République Street and the 2 main squares, Place de l'Horloge and Place du Palais. And from this axis, there is a whole network of streets, narrow lanes, and small to medium squares that spread across the old town. It's very pleasant to walk around there or even let yourself get lost. The vibe of the old town is a mix of a medieval vibe, shown by the architecture of certain buildings and old narrow streets, and combined with more modern spots, with shops, bars, and restaurants with their terraces. These two contrasts sit right next to each other on the same street or the same square, and they blend together in a very natural way. Then, just outside the old town, there is the riverbank. You can get there via the modern bridge or by taking the small shuttle boat. And once you are on the other side, you can walk along the path that runs next to the river, with green spaces on one side and the old bridge of Avignon on the other side. Now, let's see the landmarks. First, the Palace of the Popes. It dates back to the 14th century, and it was built after the Pope decided to move the seat of the Catholic Church from Rome to Avignon for safety reasons. It became the new seat of the popes for less than a century until the seat returned to Rome. It's the largest Gothic palace in the world, and it's made up of many rooms, from very large ones to smaller ones. Today, they include explanation panels, scale models, paintings, frescoes, and statues. The entrance ticket includes a digital tablet that lets you see a reconstruction of each major room of the monument, showing how they looked back in the 14th century. The palace also has a garden that has been recreated in the medieval style of its time. It mainly features Provençal plants as well as vegetable plants. Then, to the north, just on the other side of the ramparts, there is the famous historic bridge of Avignon. It's actually linked to the ramparts, and it seems like an extension of them. It dates back to the 12th century, and it was much longer at the time, with a total length of more than 900 meters. But over time, it was damaged by floods from the river, then repaired several times. This went on until the 17th century, when it was abandoned, and today it remains only a 150-meter section. Now, let's see the tours. There are several activities you can do in Avignon, like walking tours, food tours, and more. We've got a dedicated page on our website where you'll find the full list, with provider recommendations for each one. The link is in the description. Now, let's see the parks. First, at the very end of the old town, there is the Rocher des Dons Park. It sits a bit elevated, and you reach it by a winding alley. The park is pleasant to walk around. There is a mix of open areas and shaded spots under many trees, and there is also a pond in the middle. Then, toward the south of the old town, there is the small Agricole Park. It's located behind an old Gothic church that was turned into a Protestant temple, and there is a small area with little ponds surrounded by flowers. Now, let's see the churches. First, the Cathedral of Avignon. It's located right next to the Palace of the Popes. It sits a bit higher than the square, and you reach it after climbing a few dozen steps, and from the outside you can spot the golden statue of the Virgin Mary on top of its bell tower. It's Romanesque in style and dates back to the 12th century. It's the oldest church in the city, and inside it has several side chapels on each side. Then, a bit lower down, there is Saint-Pierre Basilica. It dates back to the 14th century and it's Gothic in style. And inside, it features many religious paintings. Then, if you keep going lower, there is Saint-Didier Church. It also dates back to the 14th century and it's Gothic as well. And inside, it's decorated with several religious paintings. Then, toward the west of the old town, there is Saint Agricole Church. It was built in the 14th century on the site of an earlier church. It's Gothic in style, and it keeps the relics of Saint Agricole, the patron saint of the city of Avignon. Now, let's see the museums. First, the Petit Palais Museum. It's located in the former residence of the archbishops, built in the 14th century, and today it houses a collection of paintings, mainly by Italian artists from the early Renaissance period. Then there is the Calvet Museum. It's located in a former 18th century private mansion, and it displays some objects from antiquity, but mainly European paintings ranging from the 15th to the 20th century. Then there is the Angladon Museum. It's located in a former 18th century private mansion, and besides being a house museum, it mainly features modern art paintings. Then there is the Lambert Museum. It's also located in a former 18th century private mansion, and it houses a collection of contemporary art from the 1960s to the present. Now, let's see the food market. The main food market in Avignon is located in the center of the old town. It's indoors and it's easy to recognize thanks to its facade covered in greenery. Inside, you can find many kinds of good quality products: meat, fish, cheese, and more. And you'll also find takeaway food, or food you can eat on site at the few cafes and bars inside. Now let's see the viewpoints. First, from one of the small terraces of the Palace of the Popes, you can get a view on both sides over the Palace Square below and the river in the background. But the field of view is limited by the width of the stone crenels. Then, from the Rocher des Dons Park, on the left, you get a wide view over the old bridge and the river. And on the other side, a view over the eastern half of the old town. Then, from the riverbank on the other side of the river, you can get a beautiful low-angle panorama of the old bridge of Avignon and the old town. And from the edge of the modern bridge, same thing but with another angle. Now let's see the festival. Every year, during 3 weeks in July, the city hosts the Avignon Theatre Festival, which is the biggest festival of its kind in the world. During this time, you'll see countless posters on the street walls showing the shows on the program. Actually, there are 2 festivals happening at the same time, one called In, where artistic shows take place inside venues, and the festival called Off, which happens in the streets, with shows and musicians bringing the streets to life. All of it in a very festive atmosphere. Now let's see an extra category about Villeneuve-lès-Avignon. This place is a tiny town next to Avignon. It's located on the other side of the river. If you have some extra time, you can make a detour to visit it as well. There is a medieval tower located at the entrance of the town. From its rooftop, it gives you an amazing viewpoint over the river below and Avignon right in front of you. Then you can walk around the quiet small streets, and if you keep going all the way to the end of the town, you reach the main attraction, the Saint-André Fort, which is a medieval fortified complex located on higher ground. And within the walls, there is an abbey and its garden. Now that you've got a clear view of what you can do in Avignon, For more info of each place, including opening hours and prices, check out our website, culturefrancia.com. The links are in the description. And for more videos about the Provence region, check out our playlist popping up on the screen. And to support what we do, like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. See you in the next video.